Shorty Devi, Yamuna, welcome. This is round two.
We're back.
It's nice to see you. Thank you for coming.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to start by asking you about an update on like your business, the NLP and that side of things. How's it been going since the
It's good. So I am a master life coach, clinical hypnotherapist, and NLP practitioner. I help people who want to elevate their life. It's sort of difficult to explain exactly what I do because everything I do is client led. It's more like if you feel a good vibe from me and I can, sort of have a plan of the way you would elevate yourself, then we would work together. And I guess I'm a brain geek. So
Yeah, I, I don't know. I think I could describe what you do. Well, I know that you kind of work with a person's. There's like a connection in your opinion or in your work between the brain and because you call it active NLP, yeah.
So I created a method of mindful movement, mindful exercise called active NLP.
There we
And
go.
it's bringing, it's allowing people to find their unique expression through movement. If you want to be healthy, you need to look at, well, two ways you can look at it. Yes, we have the mind, body, and soul, and everybody talks about that as an adult. And now in today's society, I think you need to take into consideration the financial aspect as well. So you need to be healthy in body, mind, soul, and financially. But for the purpose of active NLP, it's about finding your form of movement because everybody should be moving no matter how old you are. And if you want to live healthy, happy, good life and feel good in your body, you're going to have to incorporate movement into your life. So that's one of my biggest passions is helping people understand that movement is a vital part of your life and it's something that you can develop for yourself. And if you want to deepen the relationship you have with yourself, it's very good to be in tune with your body.
So you mentioned the financial side. Right. So how does that come into play with it, and what do you mean?
So I'm most certainly not a financial advisor, and if anybody came to me with like really big money problems, I would then have a discussion with them about what kind of financial coach they need.
Okay.
But nowadays, especially the cost of living crisis and all of these terms that we have, and people are struggling, but a lot of people have limiting beliefs around money. Their money mindset isn't really helping them in their life. So again, as someone living in today's Western society, if you want to be healthy, chances are you should have some financial health as well, because when you have money problems, that's a lot, if you
It
have.
adds to the stress.
Absolutely. Maybe more for men than it does for women. I don't know, but I guess that's up for debate. But yeah, you absolutely need to take into consideration that if you are financially secure, that is going to help your life.
Yeah. I want to I'm gonna go a bit dark for a moment, or deep, not dark, deep. I want to talk about death.
Oh no. Okay.
For a second. I lost someone very recently who was one of the people say nice things about people when they're gone. Like for instance, if you ask me about my grandma, she's no longer here, but I would still tell you the truth, which is she wasn't very nice. This person that I lost recently was genuinely one of the kindest human beings that's ever walked this planet. And he was strong, fit, everything like that, and passed away suddenly. What's your relationship like with death?
Well, first of all, I'm so sorry that you lost someone. It is the circle of life, and death is a part of what we will all go through. Grief is very, very challenging. And from what I know, grief comes in waves. So, for example, I lost my father when I was 3, and it still hurts today. You know, I can still cry about it today, and grief doesn't go away, but there is a process, and I think there are a few stages of grief. It's not really my area, but you know, there's the denial and the pain, and what's it? I think there's like haggling or something. Grief is difficult, but one thing you definitely can't do is push it aside. You need to go on the journey of understanding grief. And I think if you are religious or spiritual, that kind of cushions the blow. You know, when you see death as the final, you know, there's nothing after that. I find that maybe that mindset is a lot more difficult than those who, like myself, believe in something else. You know, that definitely softens the blow. I don't know if that really answers your question, but
yeah, you think that there is something after.
I do, yes, yeah. I do.
One of the reasons why I bring that up is because don't you think that we're just passing through here?
Yeah, potentially. We are all experiencing the Matrix, if you will. You know, we are all energetic beings floating on a rock in the middle of a multi-universe potentially, and I encourage people to make the most of their experience as a human, and that experience includes death and grief. And you know, when you think of happiness, and maybe also when you think of children and how we teach them, or how some people are like, you have to be happy, you have to be joyful, you know, like, yes, we always have to be on these high vibrations. The truth is that sadness, anger, exhaustion, frustration, all of these emotions and states of being are also part of our life. Everything comes in waves. And if you give yourself a hard time about feeling frustrated or angry or whatever, like, you're only kind of adding another layer of crap onto it. So be grateful that you are a human able to experience this life with everything. You know, there are people who don't actually get to experience all of the range of emotions. It is a privilege to feel all those emotions. It might not be nice, but also I encourage people to sit with those darker feelings / vibrations.
Yeah. To a slightly cheerier subject now.
Mm-hmm.
How are your boys doing?
My boys, they are good.
Beautiful boys. I met them.
Thank you.
A few times. Really, really, really good boys.
Yes. Milo is my 10-year-old, and Arlo is going to be 7 soon. And they are my pride and joy, obviously. I'm a home educator mother. I don't send my children to school. They thrive in their environment. We've been doing this for a long time now. I think 5-6 years it's coming to. And yeah, they're really good. Thank you.
So you mentioned that their father is now in a situation that you are not best pleased with.
No, I did not say that. And actually, like, I would rather like put a pin on like my personal stuff. But no, what I will say is I have a very peaceful relationship with the father of my children. Yeah. We were together for 13 years. And while it was definitely challenging, sort of, you know, maybe 6 months after we split for maybe about a year, it's, you know, this is the 3rd year now that we're not together, and things are peaceful, and I'm very, very grateful. There might always be uncomfortable situations that come along, but, you know, I love him regardless. I really do, whether we are together or not. Like, he's the father of my children. I see him as a very decent human being. I just, we're just not together anymore.
Understood. I won't go into the situation then. What I will ask is when people are co-parenting, what are your thoughts on how one of the parties should deal with the other person moving into a relationship?
I think first and foremost, if you have the emotional maturity to be kind and have open conversations, that's going to be very helpful.
I'm asking because a lot of the things we talk about, other people are experiencing, and hopefully someone watches and can relate or learn something, or share thoughts. So that's why I ask.
I think in any relationship, regardless whether it's a co-parent or an ex-boyfriend or a former friend even, or even former boss, again, if you can have those uncomfortable conversations, but at least hold yourself to your values, that helps a lot.
I know a lot of guys, right, who are like, my kids, my baby mum. We're not together, but we got kids. My baby mum, whatever. And she best not be linking her next man. She best not be trying to have no next man around my youths. So that sort of thing. What do you think about that type of thing? Do you think that's unfair to the?
I think it really, really depends so much on sort of the circumstances of the situation. I think first and foremost, put your ego aside.
As in the guy should, right?
Everyone should. Yeah. Everybody should put their ego aside. If you genuinely are a good parent, you're going to need to put your children first. Your children can be your biggest teachers. And if you are wise enough to understand that, you will have a wonderful parenting relationship. It's really each to their own. How long were you with that person? What was your breakup like? What is your relationship like with each other? What kind of example are you setting for your children? If someone wants to introduce new partners, hopefully there's a safe space for you to do that. But the chances are it's probably not a good idea for your children unless you are sure that you are in a committed relationship. Maybe that everybody needs to meet each other again, so everybody can understand that these are healthy individuals for your children to be around. Who introduces someone after a couple months? Someone who is potentially not making the best choices in their life. So I would question that. But if you have had someone new in your life for a year and it's going well and you think that you see a future with that person, then hopefully you would be able to introduce your children again in a safe space. As long as the children feel protected and they're not missing out on anything, I don't think it's bad. The more people we have around our children to influence them in a good way is a good thing. We talk about that, the village to raise your kids. This might be their village. Step parents. I don't want to get too emotional about it, but I had a wonderful stepfather. And he gave me absolutely everything I want: love, attention, affection. He was so proud of me. I didn't have a dad, and then I had this other wonderful, wonderful role model in my life. So that was a good thing for me. What wasn't good, though, is when my mother was promiscuous and I saw different men coming into her lives, into our lives, and my mother taking so much time for them and not for me. I felt unsafe as a child. That tainted my childhood a lot. And I think because of that reason, I will not be introducing any men to my children in any romantic capacity. I'm very happy for my children to meet potentially someone maybe I'm interested in, not as, hey, this is my new boyfriend, but hey, this is my friend. He's really cool. Again, safe spaces. Okay.
It's very difficult. Thank you for sharing all of that, by the way. It's very difficult, I think, as a parent. I'm not a parent, but I imagine it's very difficult as a parent to know when the right timing is. Couple of months is that too soon? Some people might think, I don't know, like how long do I wait? Is a couple of months a bit long?
I mean, I think a couple of months is very, very short.
Yeah.
And and also what is the risk? The risk is you've been with this someone who you might be in a love bubble with, and then you're going to introduce your children. Your children could potentially be traumatized by the experience. And I don't mean that there's abuse or anything like that. Your child could feel neglected. Yeah. Your child could feel unsafe because the connection is being...
it's a new connection that's not with the child.
Exactly. So again, like the chance, it's 2 months. Like if it's forever, if you're so sure after 2 months, this is my forever person... Practice patience. Wait a year, like...
A year?
Maybe a year. It's your children. It's not your bestie, it's your child. And that's safe. Listen, this is just me, okay? Like these are my standards and my boundaries that I would have because of my situation, that I know what it was like to have a promiscuous parent. Good. Also, I don't want to set an example for my children that relationships are just so disposable, and they're already growing up in a world where we have social media, online porn, and dating apps where everyone seems to feel like there is an illusion of, I've got all these options. You might have options. 100% they are not viable options. I'm just, again, very, very clear. These are my boundaries, and I encourage everybody to find their own set of rules that works for them. We're all kind of the same. We have a brain and body and whatever, but we're also all completely unique with who we are and how we were raised and what influenced us. For me, it's just not for me. I'm not introducing anyone in any romantic capacity to my children unless I'm really, really sure. And I think for me, I would need at least a year. That's not to say that they might not meet him, but they're not going to meet him as a potential threat.
Got you. Okay. I met my mum remarried in 2014. I met her husband for the first time at their wedding.
Each to their own, man. I mean, who's to judge? But you were a grown person though. It's different. It's so different, you know? But can I say, it still sometimes hurts. It's still kind of a gut punch when we're older.
Yeah. For me, it was just like, like she's a classic, like, she's just a comedian. She's just a comedian. Like,
I would love to sit down with your mom one day. I always say about you, I say Alex is my favorite person to argue with because it's always a really, really good discussion with us. And I feel like sometimes when I'm having discussions with people who have a different opinion to me, they get so combative. And I'm not about that combative energy, like this aggressive energy, or like I'm not one to push my viewpoint, my opinion, and my, map onto them. In NLP, we say the map is not the territory, right? Like what you perceive as your reality is certainly not mine. When we look at a map, this is not the territory. This is a map of the territory, right?
Okay.
So, each to their own.
Okay, so let's get into dating. Okay. So, are you seeing anyone at the moment? You don't have to say it. You don't want to.
I am not really dating and not really seeing anyone.
Really? Okay, not really is a bit different. Like,
I'm definitely not in any kind of serious relationship. I've been single now for like 3 years, and yes, there have been some nice characters who have sort of come into my life, and I'm very grateful for them. Like, I feel when I first became single, I was very broken, and I said those silly things like men are trash and they're no good men and da-da-da-da-da. And now I see it as, you know what, I was so broken, and that's the frequency that I was vibrating at. And actually the universe really did send me some scummy ones that I was like, oh, God. But you know what? I started healing myself. And I'm really, really grateful to say that then the universe started sending me really, really good men. Nothing ever happened with these men, but I've been, like, in the 3 years, I think I've been on maybe like 5 dates, 5 first dates. And that doesn't say anything that there wasn't a second date. They were all very, very lovely men, successful, kind, charming, polite, manners, still sort of a little bit in touch with them. There was never any horrible, like, whatever. But I think when you know, I'm 41, I'll be 42 this year. When you get to a certain age and you've done a significant amount of work on yourself, you understand that you're not looking just for attention. You're looking for genuine connection. And I can find you attractive, and I might see that you're amazing on paper, but fundamentally, maybe we're not compatible. And that's okay then.
I think you're a great person.
Thanking you.
I've known you for a few years, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What if that guy that you're compatible with what if it never comes?
To be honest, I've been thinking about that recently too. I was thinking about it, like, what if I never really have another significant relationship? And I felt like, I'm of the believer, like, if you really fear something, you're going to bring, like, that fear energy that you are projecting, everything that you fear is going to come true. And I've been there before as well, where I thought this is the worst thing that could happen. Boom, it happened, right? And I have to say, I'm grateful that my life is really privileged. I have good relationships with my friends, my family, my children, and with myself. And if a man isn't part of my future, I'm kind of okay with that. On the other hand, there's a part of me inherently that believes there is someone out there for me. There is my person who will understand me and who I will vibe with, I feel like I got married very, very young, and we kind of had a shotgun wedding. So maybe this is the time where I'll meet someone who's maybe more compatible.
There's someone out there for everyone. This is like a saying that
I think there are many people for different times in your life.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but like the saying that people say, oh, there's someone out there for everyone. That's the saying, right? Not what you're saying now, but that's like the saying. But marrying the two, right? What you're saying, the fact that there's lots of people out there for people at different times in their lives, and the actual saying, the old age saying of there is someone out there for everyone. All of that put together, what if you never meet that person or these people? Or do you feel like there's just so many people that you must do?
I certainly don't feel a pressure to meet anyone. I suppose that's not why I'm looking for anyone. It's not why I'm on the dating apps. It's not why I approach people, and I keep very much to myself, I think men, like, if you give them an opportunity as an attractive woman, like, if you give them some eye contact and a smile, you let them know that you're interested and they can come and talk to you. I don't do that, I'm very much in my bubble. And again, I think because it's not a priority in my life right now to have a man, to have a relationship, I've been married, I've had children, so I don't really have that pressure. Mm-hmm. But it's just not my priority. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, so bigger than you and me, and just in general, so like speaking in general, that mindset amongst women, because you're a woman, so tell me your general opinion on behalf of women in general. Oh, come on.
I hate this, Alex. I don't like generalizing. I really, really don't. I don't like generalizing, but I think, like, look, I would encourage everyone to understand their triggers, understand their trauma, understand the people that were leading by example when they were young. How has that affected you in your relationships now? Like, I think the reason I have this mindset is because my mother wasn't traditional. She was married, but she didn't have children with that person. And then, she was divorced 10 years later. But my mother wasn't the wife in a dynamic of a house where there was a husband and wife and the kids and the dog and the picket fence and stuff, right? So it makes sense that actually now I don't have that mindset, because we really do follow the patterns of our parents, be it for good or worse. I think what I have been able to take away is that I was so traumatized by part of the relationship I had with my mother, for example, her promiscuity or the fact that she had a alcohol problem, right? So I had to heal from those things. But I also take away now as an adult who my mother was, why she was like that. You know, my mother will be 83 this year. She's a refugee from World War II. That affected her entire life. Even though she fled the war when she was 3 or 4, and her father passed away around about the same time, that affected her whole life and all of her relationships. And you can say daddy issues, but it's a real thing. Whether your father is there or not, you might still have daddy issues.
What are some of the ways you can have daddy issues if your father is there?
He could be abusive to your mother.
Of course.
He could be abusive to you.
Yeah.
And he could be neglectful, you know, he could speak to you terribly. He could make you feel uncomfortable. There are so many ways that your male role model can affect you negatively or positively.
Yeah.
But
okay, you don't like generalities, but you can surely speak on the dating market today.
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like, again, like I said, everybody has the solution that everyone is disposable and, you know, you have all of these options. Trust me, you don't have good, viable options. You don't. And people are, because you can just swipe right, swipe left, do whatever, there's always someone new. You never need to work on yourself, because if things are going wrong in a relationship, it's both of you need to be held accountable. And we spoke about this last time too. You know, like if you are in an abusive relationship as a woman, if your man hits you once, first of all, don't argue about it. There's never a reason for physical abuse, right? But if you are a woman perpetuating that cycle that every time he hits you, you go through the, you know, the remorse stage and, you know, the take me back sex phase and, you know, then he's love bombing you. You are part of the problem, right? And you are probably lacking in your self-worth. And there's something in your childhood that happened that makes you feel unworthy of a healthier kind of love, right? So it's all about accountability as well, you know? And sometimes I'll write something on the socials when I see like some wounded masculine comment, and boy, do they come for me, right? Oh, look at you, single mom, you don't know anything. Women lack accountability. And it's like, I didn't say any of that, but you're projecting that. So that might be you. That's a you problem. You know, like when people know me personally, you know, I'm the most kind, the most compassionate. I often say, like, my clients come to me at their worst, but I see the best in them. And that's kind of how I roll through life. You know, we all need to take accountability of what we're bringing to a relationship. But back to your question, you know, it seems a lot harder to date nowadays because people have the illusion of options. You know, if you think about it, just 60, 70 years ago, we didn't have all of these criteria for marrying. Now we want someone to be our best friend, be our confidant. We want to have good sex. We want to feel valued. We want them potentially to come with money, you know, a good car, a good job, all of these things.
When you say we on that list, you're talking about women, yeah?
Women potentially, yes, that they need a rich man or whatever. And then men, they're like, oh, well, we need low body count, whatever it is. You know, each to their own. We all have our criteria. The men have criteria just as the women.
The men have like 2 or 3 things max on their criteria.
We spoke about this recently, and
200 to 300 on their criteria.
Let's be realistic.
I'm being silly, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I think we spoke about this once, and you said to me, and it really is true, you were like, Shorty, if a woman has a booty call, she still has a whole list of things that this guy needs to be. And you were like, a man has one. She's got to be attractive. And then you said, actually, no, scratch that. Not even that at times. And it's really true. Like, you...
Yeah.
Right?
Men will sleep with a woman, they would not be caught dead in public.
Facts.
I mean, and if we look at that man, what does it say about him?
When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
But what does that say about him? Like, again, I'm more interested in why would this man have sex with that woman but be embarrassed of her in public? And if you are going to have sex with her in private, and listen, sometimes it's nice to keep things private. I vibe on that frequency, right? But like, if you, I feel like it begs the question, what is going on with you that you are maybe sleeping with someone?
It's a very simple answer, actually.
Go
Sorry.
on. No, go on.
No, so sex is very different for men and for women.
Definitely.
So a man can reproduce 4 or 5 times a day and have 1,000 children a year. A woman can only have one. So for you to, risk having a child with somebody, you need to make sure that that person is the best possible option for you. Whereas a man is wired total opposite. So it's like, I have this urge to bust this nut, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And it needs to happen. And even if it's somebody that I do not want my boys or anyone seeing me with in public, it has to happen.
Exactly.
I mean, again, it begs the question, right? Why was contraception created for women and not for men? If men can impregnate 30 women, 5 women in a day, but a woman can have a baby only every 9 months,
Yeah, that is no contraception.
Like the pill.
There has been extensive, research and development, but it's just the side effects are. It's basically made men completely infertile, and
the women's birth control, women's hormonal birth control is a number 1 cancer carcinogenic. Like, women wonder why they're having breast cancer and, like cysts in their ovaries and all of that. It's because we've been on hormonal birth control for decades at times. It's like, it's definitely one of my big passions.
Listen, it's not fair. Like, for sure. Like, there are lots of things that aren't fair. Like, dating a girl once who was a doctor and did so well in school, so well in at uni, got her master's, became a doctor before she got her master's, if I'm not mistaken, actually. Just really high achieving, but was still single.
It's hard nowadays.
If you give the guy those credentials, that guy is
it's a catch.
Yeah. I don't know, we're just not programmed to want that, but women are programmed to look for those sorts of things in guys.
I mean, we find different things attractive in
each other.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say, like, the beauty standards are a trend, right? So we might be loving like big lips and BBLs at the moment, but I mean, that is not, it is a cycle, like, so that.
So there was, maybe I can't just use myself here, but let's hear both of your opinions. Yeah. So look, there was a time where in the magazines, before social media, in the magazines and the lads mags and all of them, TV, whatever, it was skinny girl, slim, big boobs, white girl, usually, skinny, no bum, big boobs. That was a thing once upon a time. That was never ever my thing. Never my thing.
I don't think that look is. I mean, this was always like mentioned like growing up. Oh, that's not what a real woman's supposed to look like, and why are they pushing these like really really skinny models? And that's a fashion thing. So I've spoken to several people who have like looked into this sort of stuff, like in depth, and they're like super into their fashion. It's when you have a really skinny model in a particular outfit, especially the high fashion stuff that we see all over the billboards and magazines, the woman's supposed to resemble a coat hanger. So you're supposed to be able to see the clothes and not necessarily the woman in the clothes.
And
you're not supposed to outshine the actual design itself. You're not supposed to be able to see nice hips or nice back. It's just supposed to like, here's the garment.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what that was. It was not necessarily what anyone. I never met anybody who says I want a woman who's like,
Well, there was a time where Naomi Campbell, like you said, it's fashion, but it was fashionable to fancy Naomi Campbell or I can't remember their names, but the skinny
Christy
white girl.
Turlington, Cindy Crawford,
Yeah,
Linda.
the skinny white girl with no bum and big boobs. You remember those times?
Yeah, no.
I was
But
never.
What I mean is, I think that biologically we are wired to find women attractive who have slim waists, broader hips, because it's of all of the childbearing capabilities of that woman, and not like women who are ridiculously overweight, not like women who are ridiculously underweight because of health conditions and those implications it can have with childbearing.
Yeah.
I feel we're bringing it really back to Neanderthal. Like some men say that like
you can't avoid that sort of stuff.
there is some sort of instinctual.
Small and muscular. You can't say, you're a cave woman. You're a Neanderthal for having a purpose.
I think it's an interesting conversation to think to discuss what are really our instinctual preferences, and then how have we been influenced by beauty trends. That's a good interesting discussion. And also, can I just say, there are a lot of theories and a lot of explanations of why men are natural roamers, and why they have, it's like over history they've had a license to cheat or to have multiple women, but I'm not really sure that there is any real basis to it.
What do you mean by license to cheat?
What do you mean by basis as well?
No.
I've started something.
I've got an explanation, so let me just understand what you mean by license to cheat.
I mean, I just think if we look at history, we have these terms like, they're natural roamers, and men need to spread their seed, and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, but we don't live in that world anymore. We're not Neanderthal anymore. We're not cavemen anymore. We are living in this very dysfunctional society. It seems like if we strip it back, who we are as natural people of the earth, if you will, there's so many layers on top of us now. So I wonder, what is it exactly? Do men actually have you, sorry, I'm trying to say this right. Have men and women potentially just been conditioned? Men roam, men cheat, men do this.
No,
it's not
conditioned. I'll tell you why, because a very specific, and it's a minority of men have that license to cheat, and they are awarded that license by women because women are attracted to men who have the capability to cheat and who.
Men. Wait.
Have you ever heard the saying that a woman is more likely to get with a man who lives with his wife than a man who lives with his mother?
Wow. I haven't even heard that one, but it sounds like facts.
I can imagine that is true. It doesn't make me happy though.
I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is it. When I say these things, I'm not wearing a t-shirt saying, this is right. It's just, this is what it is.
Exactly. And those specific men have been, a woman would rather be a king's concubine than a peasant's wife. These are all things that have been said throughout history, and it's not like men are just conditioned, or built a society to allow men to do that. I think it's, in actual fact, it's the opposite. I think throughout history, I think it's more than a third of men didn't get a chance to reproduce.
Yeah, something like that.
And I think it's 80% of women did, or 90% of women did, but a huge chunk of men, 30 or 40% of men, never actually got to reproduce throughout history because they just were not chosen. They were not seen as worthy enough by the majority of women. There was a select few men that had multiple wives and multiple partners. And I think that the Abrahamic religions are what regulated society and said that monogamy is the way forward, and it gives everybody a fair shout. And and now that's starting to
disappear,
devolve a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think
A little bit.
With birth control and with this sort of stuff, I think people are seeing relationships as expendable, like you were saying. You can just.
Can I also say birth control for women? If you're on hormonal birth control, you are not in your. You are never going to be in your divine feminine if you are on hormonal birth control.
Because it messes with.
It messes up your entire fucking. Sorry, I'm swearing. It messes up your entire being. Yeah. It really does, and it will fuck up your relationships. And I would encourage anyone man or woman, if the woman in the relationship is on birth control, come off it and see how you were doing in 6 months.
There have been so many studies, and a lot of like women that I've spoken to that have been on hormone, but I mean most birth controllers on nowadays, anyways.
Yeah.
On hormonal birth control, they say that they find different types of men attractive. Like they'll be with a man that they're like, madly in love with, and then they'll come off the birth control and they'll just be like, who is this person?
Full ick.
Just complete like.
One sec.
Turn off.
Does that? What do you think about that?
So I haven't been on.
No. So this is not about you specifically, but you don't like to generalize. But...
No. We can generalize with this. There's no generalization. Like you should, as a woman, please, I encourage you. It is the number one carcinogenic to be on hormonal birth control. Like it is fucking up your body. Again, if you are a woman who is interested in your divine feminine, really, really understanding who you are as a being, if you're saying that you want a real man, a masculine man to come in your life, how are you going to sustain that if you don't even know who you are in essence as a divine female?
But then, what if she gets pregnant coming off birth control? How is she meant to have sex?
No, there is other forms of, very viable contraception that doesn't include hormones.
Like what?
So
Coil?
Absolutely no.
Hormones.
Again, no.
Okay.
So you have two
Fine.
coils. One is a hormonal coil and one is a copper coil. And I had the copper coil for quite some time in between my children. Again, no. Like, as a woman, this area is your most divine and sacred connection to Mother Earth. By putting something copper in it, no, it might not be hormonal, but it is a foreign object in your most precious. It should not be there. You can track your cycle, track your fertility by measuring your temperature every morning. And there are also many apps. You do not need any kind of foreign object in your body, and you do not need any extra hormones in your body to have safe sex.
So track your cycle. That's the way to do it. I agree. I agree with that because you don't want to risk pregnancy unless you want to get pregnant. You're in a healthy situation where you want to get pregnant.
Well, if it was only like that, if everybody in a healthy relationship wanted to have babies, then it would be much better. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who aren't in healthy relationships or any kind of committed relationships, and then these women just want a baby.
That's not.
Again, they're like wounded women having children to potentially fill a void that is, there in their life. It can go either way. You can either have the child and really start to heal yourself because you understand that this child needs you at your strongest, or you're just going to collapse even more. I see it all the time.
I want to just bust a quick left turn and ask you something. I've noticed you're so on your fitness, like in the gym pretty much every day.
I live a no days off kind of life. I have not had a day off this year.
You're raising two boys from home and you're always in the gym as well every morning. Like you've obviously got and you walk the dog. I remember.
I have a dog, yes, and my mother is 83, so I take care of her too.
What's the me as a pretty girl watching and hearing this about you? How do I get this motivation and how do you do this? How do you do it?
First of all, forget about motivation. Motivation will come when you start seeing results. So never ever wait until you are feeling motivated to take initiative and bring change into your life. I would say my business is called the Why Practice, and it's a play on words because my name is Yamuna, but it is the Why Practice. But everything you want in your life is a practice. We are practicing this life, and the more you practice something, the better you're going to be at it. I wasn't always this organized and this grounded and this maybe confident. I have my insecurities just like anybody else, but I'm feeling pretty confident in where I am in my life. But it is a practice. And for any woman out there, thinking I can't do it, just understand that is a limiting belief. If someone else, it's the basis of NLP, right? Like NLP is the study and the art and science of human behavior, specifically looking at excellence. Basically, if someone has done it before, then you can do it too. You just need to use the same model that they used and then apply it to yourself. So,
do you live for a man? Hang on. Are you trying to look your best and be your best so that you can land the best?
No.
Or are you just doing this for you?
It's really for me, and I guess any man that comes into my life and wants to pursue me, it's a bonus that I look good.
Right.
Again, it's a beauty standard, you know? There are some men who are going to find me attractive, and then there are other men who will not find me attractive.
I think most men will find you attractive. I think there's like a general, kind of...
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
No need to thank,
No, it's
YouTube, right?
I used to not be okay with compliments and then be like, oh, no, but I'm okay with having a compliment now. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Cool. So, do you have like an ideal guy? So, not without mentioning anything physical, what are some of the traits that this ideal guy would ideally have?
One of my deepest values is kindness. I would never be able to be with someone who was inherently unkind. So that's probably the biggest one. Yeah. The second one is strength. He has to be strong. Again, maybe this is a little bit of projection, but I'm strong.
What kind of strength? What do you mean?
Oh, spiritual strength, physical and mental strength.
Okay.
Like again, strength is one of my biggest values. I value my strength. I have cultivated my strength, and every day I do my work and be the best mom I can and go to the gym, and I ground myself in strength. And if you're not strong, again, these are the pillars of what I base my life on. If we don't have those in common, it's probably not going to work. Yeah. And I think the third one is generous. I'm a very, very generous person. When I have time for you, I'm generous with my time, my money, my love, my affection. And also, my father and my stepfather were both very, very generous men. And again, we recreate those cycles that we had in childhood. So I think those are my big ones.
Great. So now what are some of the physical? So those are the attributes. Now add the physical layers on top of this guy.
So I don't think I have a type, and I've really, really never been one to sort of go on looks. I've had a few really, really ugly boyfriends, but they were some of the, nicest, most fun relationships I ever had. But if you were going to put looks into it, I'm not ageist, and I don't really care about your body or your skin. Like, I think if you are...
You don't care about their body?
Well, I was going to finish that. If you are massively obese, and I think we actually might have talked about this on our last chat as well. Like, if you're massively obese, we probably don't have that in common, because again, I take care of myself in mind, body, soul. Probably need that person to do it. If he's had an accident and he was bedridden and he's put on weight and he has injuries and all of that, that's something different, and then he would work on his lifestyle to sort of be strong in the body. Because again, if you're morbidly obese, you're not going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely, I'm like a eyes and smile kind of girl, like if you have bright eyes and a really nice smile and I can feel a connection, just don't really care about looks.
You didn't mention height.
Listen, I'm 5'1". Like,
what if he was 4'11"?
I mean,
yeah or no? Be honest.
I've always really liked being with tall men or strong men. I mean, my the father of my children isn't 6 foot at all, but he's a very strong man. It is nice, and again, it is nice to feel protected by your man.
Yeah.
And I think I'm at a place in my life where I can say I take very good care of myself, and I am very grounded in my divine feminine. And if I want a big, strong, masculine man, I think I'm allowed to have my preferences too.
I just want to hear you say.
know?
I just want to hear you
Yeah.
say.
Look, ideally, yes, he'd be like tall, dark, and handsome, but
How much must he bench press?
oh, listen, we could talk about that guy from the gym.
Yeah, he was all. So there was this guy in the gym. He was all chest.
Like you could do
Chest only.
Bro worked chest every day religiously.
Chest only. And he was a handsome guy, good looking guy. Initially, she found him attractive, but then I'll let you say the rest if you want. Because
I just don't think. Look, I mean, it was, I bounced into the gym. I was in a funny mood. We had a little chin wag. There was a guy, doing chest or whatever.
You don't have to go in. You just say what you want to say and what you don't
just,
want to.
I said to Alex, I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute. And then there was a little moment that Alex had a chat with him, and then he came over and talked to me. To be honest, the main thing was I looked at his face, and he was a hell of a lot younger than I thought he was. And I was like, okay, no. And nothing.
Honestly, when you said to me, oh, you thought it was kind of, I looked at him, and I could see it was just chest. Just like a block. And and it was interesting because you later on your own said that to me. So it was interesting that you identified that too. So I guess the answer to your question is they've got to be proportionate.
All right.
They've got to be proportionate. They've got to look after themselves, not just their chest. For her.
Listen, the father of my children was really, really strong, and like he set the bar pretty high, and I do like strong men. I really, really do. But again, I think it's maybe a bit of a projection. Like I like strong people because I think I'm a strong person, right? So again, your vibe will attract your tribe. I'd like to think that I do actually pull in the people that are vibing on my same frequency.
Yeah. So we know the attributes, we know the physical things, we know height is important, yeah? What about money?
I think it's very difficult. I'm going to generalize now.
Let's keep it a buck. Like keep it fully real.
I know what I come with financially. I think if someone came with a hell of a lot less than me, that might create some problems. I think men can feel emasculated by a woman who has more money than them.
Just what would the men just feel emasculated, or would the woman make the men?
I don't think. I mean, what type of person are you where you need to make someone feel bad that they don't make enough or make the same amount of money? I'm definitely not about that. Again, I'm not looking for a lifestyle, right? Yeah. People in relationships nowadays, I've heard, they're either looking for a lifestyle or connection. Yeah. I have my lifestyle. I live in a nice home and I can take nice holidays.
I love your flat. I love that big elephant thing. Yeah.
That elephant has stories. But I just, I have a good life. I don't need to make anybody feel bad about what they don't have, And again, I'm very generous, very giving with my time and my effort if I like you. So if you're not doing as well as you could be, I'm just there to support you.
Do you think some girls? Okay, no, wait. Do you think most girls who are making more money than a guy that they're dating or that's trying to talk to them would talk down to him, like be rude to him and look to emasculate?
I would really like to hope no. But
what's your honest opinion?
I really, really don't know. I don't know. And one thing, when you and I went on Pearly Things, I was mortified by, again, like the combativeness of the situation. It didn't seem like a very safe space. And
what do you mean?
People were combative and people were mean to each other and people were rude. Like, and I get it. It like makes for amazing viewings, and maybe that's why I'm not I don't know, going viral, because I'm always like, let's talk about it. I'm very, let's talk about it and let's breathe and let's regulate you. But I'm also like, okay, let's look at inherently why you're choosing this life and why you might be making these mistakes in your relationship or whatever, you know. I just,
But back to my question.
I don't know. I would really like to think not. And if people are talking down to someone because they have less money than them, I mean, it's a horrible character trait.
I'm with you in hoping not and wishing not, but I can tell you that because in the past I've dated women who made more money than me, lawyers, doctors, when I was doing all right.
Touché.
And I can tell you that from what I've experienced, from what I've seen others experience as well, if a woman is making more money than you, she does
Look down on you. I've heard these things as well. You know, I was recently watching a guy talk on a podcast, and he was saying how, I won't mention the race and I won't mention the city, so we'll just keep it, you know. But he was basically saying that these women are so entitled, and that after a few weeks they're already saying things like, so you're going to pay my rent. Like, I am so fascinated by human behavior. To me, I would want to sit down with that woman and say, what gave you the balls, the metaphorical balls, to ask a guy you've known for 2 weeks to pay your rent? And please, like, you know, this whole, like, I know what I bring to the table. I would like to know, what exactly is it that you bring to the table? I am the table. What makes you the table? You know, like, again, I find this kind of behavior fascinating. I am not that person, and I definitely don't see it in my day-to-day life, but I guess my life is quite sheltered, you know.
Would you date a guy who's making less money than you?
I have never, okay, no, that's not true. I have only been out with a few men who have had and made more money than me.
Okay.
For the majority of the part, I'm the one making more money.
Right. Do you think that has had an effect on why it didn't last?
Probably was a factor, yes.
So do you think that it's best when the guy is making more money?
I mean, if you're going to look at sort of traditional like values and the traditional concept, then it has worked like that.
Okay.
But now, you know, everything has changed. Women are in the workplace. They're not at home. So whereas before, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, you know, you had the man who was out there getting the money and providing, and you had the woman who was creating the home. But then women went to work. And now we are also in a society where strangers are raising your children while you go to work. And I understand that it is absolutely not an option for some people, like they absolutely have to go to work. But to me, like as a mother, like it really, really makes me sad that there are women out there, family dynamics out there where the mother and the father have to go to work, and they are putting their baby in childcare from 6 weeks old. They're dropping them at 7 in the morning and getting them at 7 at night. And what quality time do you have with your child? Like, to me, genuinely, like, it makes my skin crawl. Like, I find that so sad. Again, I'm so grateful that I have a life where I get to be with my babies, like, all day, every day. Not all day, every day. Obviously, they have, you know, their tutors and their clubs and forest school and things like that. But I get to spend so much time with my children. And I get to be that nurturer, that provider, that safe space for my kids.
I'm going to say, though, even though women have gone to work, they still want a guy who makes more money than them, no? And it's still, isn't it still the healthiest option for longevity of a relationship?
I don't know what to be honest, the healthy option nowadays.
I mean, relationships don't happen nowadays, do they?
Well, this is the thing. I feel like let's get this very clear. People seem so petrified of the word relationship that now we have friends with benefits, seeing someone, situationship, fuck buddy, lover. We have all of these different terms. The truth is...
Sorry.
Go on. Partner. Well, I don't know.
To
me... That's quite serious.
Are you a pair of setbacks?
I just think we need to understand, and this is definitely one thing that I say to all of my clients and anybody I have a conversation with.
Talking to is another one.
Talking to.
Yeah. Sorry.
Honestly. Someone said that to me recently. Oh, I'm talking to someone. I was like, I don't give a shit, bro.
Are you texting? Is it serious? Or FaceTime?
Unless you're in a committed relationship, it's none of my business, really. You know. But look, my point is, I think people seem so scared to use the word relationship, that they're using all of these other terms. And the truth is, you're in a relationship with anyone, your neighbor, your boyfriend, your cat, you know, whatever. It's all relationships. And you should be able to have open conversations in relationships, regardless of what they are. You know, people seem not okay with labeling things.
We're running out of time, so I'm going to fire through quickly.
Sure.
A couple of things I want to hear from you. So, do you think that a man can or should be vulnerable with his girlfriend?
Vulnerability is a super strength. Like, you need to have a safe space, right? If that is your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right? If you can be vulnerable with someone, that's amazing, because you can't always, again, you will have limiting beliefs and you will be shrouded by your own judgment and your own perception of things. So if you can be vulnerable with someone, that is a good thing.
What if you can't? What if you
I would
know
encourage,
that this person will use it
then you need
against
to find someone else. You need to have a safe
What if
space.
someone else also will use it against you? What if most girls will use it against you? I'm just asking.
It's the caliber of person. Like, who is when it says so much about someone if you can be horrible to someone who is opening up and feeling vulnerable. I would encourage everyone, again, I swear, the big term, safe space. Don't judge anyone. They're being open, they're being honest, they're being vulnerable. Who are you to judge? What, you think your shit don't stink? Nah, you're just like everybody else.
Is there a limit to how vulnerable someone can be with you? Like, what if they just don't know when to stop and they're just a crybaby all the time? And they
Listen,
don't...
like, you need...
At what point does it become, because you're saying that you're attracted to people who are very, very strong. At what point does it become annoying and a turn off and like, just
if you're having the same conversation again and again and again, you're not looking for solutions. You're looking to someone to vent to, and it's not me. That's what I would say.
Do you remember Friends back in the day? There was.
I've just started rewatching it with the kids.
There's one with Bruce Willis and Rachel fancies him, and Rachel, they get together. Rachel's like, oh, he just won't open up. He won't never talk about anything deep. And then he starts talking about deep stuff, and he starts crying, and he just won't stop crying. And then eventually,
she breaks up with him. But she's not a therapist, and he needed to be crying to someone who was going to offer him solutions. He needed to heal.
But she wanted him to open up to her.
Yeah, well,
I think most women think they want a guy to be vulnerable, but
they don't know how to do. If you don't have the tools to do it, like, I'm a therapist, so I would know, listen, I need to create a safe space. I'm not going to talk over you. I'm going to let you finish and things like that, right? Like, the way I am with you now is very different to how I am with clients, right?
No, but even when we've talked, right, just in life, right, and I tell you quite deep things.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, at the end, it's still, everything's cool, like that. I hear you.
Well, I would like to think that you feel that I'm a safe space where you can say these things and you don't feel judged.
Yeah, because I know your IQ level. I know you understand certain things. I know you understand emotions and thoughts and feelings.
Emotional intelligence is also like a superpower, right? So again, like, if you're both emotionally immature, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You haven't had the experience and you haven't had someone to sort of guide you. But if you're in a relationship and you're constantly having the same problems, like, you are part of the problem, is what I'm saying, you know, and maybe you need to find a coach, find a therapist to vent. But again, like I said, offloading is one thing, but men are also, you use your logical brains a lot more, like where women use our emotional brains, if you will. But men look for solutions. So again, going back to your question, like, when is it enough? It's like, well, hang on a minute. If there's a man that is constantly just venting and not looking for solutions, I would venture a guess that he has a hormone imbalance. Again, let's take it back to the body. Your body is telling you what you need to know, right? Pain is your friend. If there is pain somewhere, your body is telling you there's something not right here. Please help me, right? So again, it's safe spaces, taking accountability, all of these things. Like, relationships are not easy, but if you're not a person who's ready to throw yourself into the deep end, like, how are you going to have any like real good quality relationships?
Is there anything, I want to play a game with you to finish with, but before I go to the game, is there anything else that you want to say, anything you want to share with the world, about the world? Because
the world are gonna watch everybody this. Is watching.
No, but you know what I mean, like anything about NLP, the wire practice, what any future endeavors, anything. If not, cool, we'll move on to the game. But is there anything, any last bits from you?
I would just love to educate people on how they can have better relationships with themselves. By having a better relationship with yourself, you're inviting other people to have good relationships with you as well, right? The quality of our life is a direct reflection to the quality of the relationships we have around us. And if you are struggling with your relationships, you could be part of the problem, but also maybe it's a chance for you to say, do you know what? Like, I'm pretty healed and I'm seeing this quite logically, and this person is a problem and I need to distance myself. But, if you are watching and you've liked anything that I have said, then please get in touch. I love to help people. And also, one of the main things I do, I say I'm the yellow pages of self-development. If I'm not the right coach for you, I will find you the right person, because I have so many amazing people in my network at this point.
Thank you. Okay, game to finish. It's called...
Oh, no.
It's called Bang, Date, Marry.
Okay.
Bang, Date, Marry.
No, isn't it kill? Isn't it kiss?
No,
kill?
I'm not doing that.
Okay, so what is it? Bang.
Bang. So like just one time bang, date continuously, or marry rest of my life. Okay. Bang,
I'm
date.
poly. This doesn't even make sense to me.
Bang, date, marry. So I'm gonna throw some names at you, and then you just say bang, date, marry, and tell me why. Say why.
Okay.
Right?
Bang, date, marry.
Okay. Ghost from Power.
I don't watch Power.
Oh, come on.
Omari Hardwick. You know.
Show me a picture. Listen, I am 41. I have a full-time job and I home educate my children. I am not there.
Fair.
I only have a certain amount of time for my trash TV.
Okay.
Alright, so this is Ghost from Power.
Okay, yes, I know him. But I don't know anything. I only know what he looks like, though. I don't know anything about his personality traits. Bang. Bang.
Bang. Okay, why? Why only that?
He seems tall, dark, and handsome, and I don't know anything about his personality or his acting career or anything.
Fine. Anthony Joshua. Why do you have a dirty look on your face?
I don't know. I know loads of women find him absolutely wonderful. He's attractive, but bang, marry. What was it?
Bang, date, marry.
Oh, date. Like he seems he's got his head together. He's successful. I know people who know him. Like, I've never heard anything like really dodgy about him. Yeah, date. Okay. I don't think you're gonna get me to say marry to anyone. Can we just say that? Yeah, I don't think so. Well, let's see.
Idris Elba.
Oh, marry.
Tell me why, though. Why?
Do you know what? He is just multi-talented, isn't he? Like, he is, first of all, like, I come from a family of actors, and I used to study acting as well. So he's an actor, but he did, I think he's in Zootropolis as well, one of the voices. So he does kid stuff too. And he does the Sky commercials. My kids like him as well.
He DJs.
He DJs, he can rap, like he's multi-talented. So yeah, I would say maybe Mary.
He can rap.
Yeah, he's on Bossy.
I mean, he's on there, but
Boasty.
rap, I don't know. But yeah.
I can't rap for shit, so I mean.
Thor.
All three.
Okay. Why?
The things I would do to him.
Why?
Twice. Once in the face. Probably the character. If I think about it now, really, like
the actual character.
Yeah, Thor. You said Thor. You didn't say the actor guy, right?
Thor,
so Thor.
Thor.
So if I'm really gonna think about it,
Strong person.
So when I was little, there was a movie called Adventures in Babysitting, and there was a little girl. She had a crush on a guy, on the character Thor, and then she eventually met a guy who looked like Thor. So I think maybe for me, there's a little bit of like childhood nostalgia.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, Thor is my favorite superhero.
Okay.
And then it's Iron Man.
But obviously beyond that nostalgia, he's attractive.
He's very yummy.
Yeah. Okay.
What about Fat Thor?
Fat Thor?
Yeah.
There's a fat Thor?
In Endgame. Yeah. I don't know if you would have seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Your boys might have watched it in the background and you didn't even clock it or something.
Definitely.
Wait, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Still would.
She still would.
Can I tell you, I'm not into looks.
Fair. Jason Momoa.
Ooh. He's yummy. Mary.
Off camera, I'm going to tell you guys a story about this Momoa in a sec.
Why would you marry him?
He's Samoan, right? Is he Samoan?
Is he Samoan?
Yeah,
well,
right?
At least half, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's got that.
Very, very, very attractive. Like Dwayne Johnson as well. Like
I
tall,
was gonna do him next.
muscly. Like I like that. Yeah.
So Jason Momoa, you would marry?
Also, he used to be with Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah.
I'm a big Lenny Kravitz fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that kind of vibe. Again, tall, dark, handsome, successful, but also like in touch with nature, because anyone from an island, I think you're more in tune with sort of the energies of the world anyway.
Yeah.
So kind of vibe on my frequency.
The Rock.
Yeah, same.
Marry?
Yeah.
Okay. For the same reasons. It's similar archetype.
It's yeah. It's just a copy.
Cool. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Date.
Why?
One date.
One date?
One date.
So not even date continuous?
Oh no, the whole time I've been saying date, it's only one date.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, I just...
Okay.
Yeah.
So why?
One date tells me everything I really need to know.
Why only one date with Leonardo?
I don't drink and I don't do drugs, but me and my best friend Cleo, who you know, we always say like, look, we don't do those things anymore. It's it's in our past. But if Leonardo DiCaprio offers me a glass of, $300 wine, glass of wine, like, I don't know. If Leonardo DiCaprio is on a yacht with a really amazing bottle of wine and a line of cocaine, I'm gonna do it. Like, Leo is... I bet he's really, really cool. I feel like I'd want to be friends with him.
Yeah.
I know I'm shorty and I'm little and, I can wear hoops and a bit of makeup and stuff, but I feel like I'm very much one of the mandem sometimes.
But you wouldn't marry him?
No.
You wouldn't bang?
I think he's a womanizer. He comes across as a womanizer, but again, actor, very talented. These are highly, highly successful people. They're not the average Joe.
I'm always going to ask you that because we don't know the average Joe. I'm asking you the highly successful people.
I would date him. I would date him.
More about the image and the character than actually.
I realized, I said that I wasn't going to marry anyone, but I have married.
You said
exactly. I have.
And you said.
And I've not.
Jason Momoa and The Rock.
Yeah, but I haven't said.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's it. Thor was the only one that got the shag.
You said bang once.
Yeah, once. That's it. Thor.
Ghost. Ghost.
Oh yeah, the one we started with, but the one that I knew nothing of.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
he's attractive.
Very superficial shag.
He's not tall, but he's dark and handsome.
I'm
He's
very.
not tall from what I know. It's not like I met him in real life, but in films, even as ghost, he doesn't seem tall to me. Man, I'd say before you say it, I'd say 5'7".
What?
Okay, 5'8". That's my final answer.
I'm very big on sexual energy exchange, and it's a topic that I learned a lot about a few years ago. So I feel like I'm very, very selective and protective of my sexual energy. So I think this game it's all hypothetical, really. It's just romanticizing and fantasizing. But the truth is, like, I'm not promiscuous, so I don't really.
5'8".
5'8". Yeah, that's
Well,
about right. Yeah,
No.
he looks it to me when I watch him on TV and stuff. Yeah, it's hypothetical. I know you. I know.
Yeah.
It's about the character and the reasoning behind which category you would put the character in.
Like, maybe it's nice to romanticize and fantasize about being a hoe. But like, you know me, I'm like a ride or die for hoes, you know? Like when anybody talks bad about hoes, I'm always like, listen, they just need healing and they need love too. And then I get a ton of abuse.
Don't throw that bottle at me, but Chris Brown.
Oh, not interested at all.
Okay. Because he beat up Rihanna. Is that
I've never really been a massive fan, and I'm a big Rihanna fan, so maybe there is a little bit of sort of that. But again, you know, it's a long time ago, and I really do believe that you can change.
What about A$AP Rocky, the guy that Rihanna's with now?
I've always kind of liked his vibe. I'd say date.
Why would you date him? Because you like.
I like the vibe. Like, I like some of his music. I like his vibe. If he's with Rihanna, then I'm assuming that he's also got like. I really like creative men. You know, creativity is
one of those.
you know, very, very attractive.
Flamboyant.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't even like just like a creative person. I'm very, very intrigued by. I love creative people.
Last one. Wait, why wouldn't you marry A$AP Rocky? The reason why I'm asking you that is because Rihanna's obviously like marrying him off kind of thing, like even though they're not officially married.
I think maybe it's just because I just not
upset Rihanna.
in it though. She's my girl, so.
I know she got a few licks in on Chris actually. Okay, last one. I just had it.
You.
Oh. Please, I already know it would be all three. Let me see. Okay, last one. Drake.
Oh no, like nothing. Date. I'd go out. I'd have some fun. No.
One date.
Yeah. That's all I want in my life. I'd be like, I went on a date with Drake. Yeah, we went out. We had some dinner, and you know, we had a good time. We did some dancing, and then whatever. But I'm just not.
Okay. Game over.
Game over.
Last question. Do you think that women should split the bill on dates on the first
date?
Yeah. First date. Well, okay. No, two questions. Okay, first question: should women split the bill on the first date?
I think it's really up to each individual. If I was not I always offer if I'm given the opportunity. I have to say, for the most part, the dates that I have been on, the man usually excuses himself to the bathroom and comes back, and the bill is already paid. So it's not an option. It's never an option. Yeah. But for example, you know, I went on a date maybe last year in October, and we met at a pizza place. He got the pizza, and then we moved on to another place where we had some dessert and tea. So he paid for the pizza and I paid for the dessert and the tea.
Yeah.
You know, and he sort of said to me that he's not like this fancy schmancy kind of guy.
Yeah.
So that's why, and he's not in London. So when he came to London, I said, hey, there's this nice pizza place. I knew that wasn't fancy schmancy and he would be comfortable. And then when the date was going nice and we had some more time, I said, there's this other place. But I also did say to him, it is super fancy schmancy. Like, you know, and he was maybe a little bit uncomfortable. He said, oh, it's not really my scene. But we went, and it wasn't like trendy fancy schmancy. It was sort of like a very elegant, understated place. Yeah. And we ended up having, you know, a really, really nice first date.
Okay, two more.
Yeah.
One, you said first date. The reason why that's sparked another question for me is, what's the difference between a first date and then dates? Like, so a first date and then second, third, fourth, and however many dates got moving forward. Like, what's?
I think that, I mean, generally speaking, I'll take this personally. Women see the first date as like an audition. Like, is this man, you know, worth my time? And I think that in relationships, I don't think that one person's time is more valuable than another person's time. I think that we are getting to know one another. And I think that I'm auditioning you the same way you're auditioning me. As stupid as that sounds, I think that we are trying to see if we are compatible, and if, like I said previously, I will always pay. It's, you know, I've just been raised that way. But it shows a lot about a woman if she says, no, we're going to go hard on this because, you know, I've enjoyed myself, you know, we've had a great time. But I think that women, nowadays especially, offer to pay when they haven't had a good time.
Yeah, because it's like, listen, I'm not into you, let me pay half of this so you didn't, you know.
For me, it's more like, you know, this person's obviously valuing my time, same way I'm valuing theirs. Still won't let them pay, and if they try, I'll, you know, have an argument with the waiter. But yeah, I think that it just shows a lot about a woman's character if she says, no, you know, we'll split this.
May I say something that is quite interesting? So you said when you're on a first date, you're sort of auditioning and you're thinking like, do I like this person? But however, you know, that is sort of, that is the men's perspective. Usually for a woman, they go on a date and they're like, oh my God, does he like me? Does he like me? Does he think I'm attractive? And it's a me thing. And I encourage women, stop thinking, does he like me? Does he like me? Does he find me attractive? Do you like him? Do you find him attractive? Right? Because women, we can feel insecure, but I have read that quite a lot and seen it being spoken about, that women are often in a headspace where they're too much worrying about how they are coming across that they forget to think, do I actually like him?
Do you think? I think you've met some really like interesting women, because nowadays, especially like with Instagram and with all of this, I think that women are so bombarded by attention that they already feel like they're the shit. They don't really care about what you think of them. They're there for a free meal a lot of the time. And
there's a term which is called a foodie call.
Yeah.
So there's not only booty call where you're just going to get laid, but now there's a foodie call where you go out just to get fed.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So they're bombarded by attention so much so that they do not need the validation of that man. They don't care if that person necessarily finds them attractive on that day. You know that if they post a picture on Instagram, it's going to get a few thousand likes.
It's a very, very superficial layer of attention that is not going to give you a deeper sense of anything.
Those sort of things are just a waste of your time and mine. There's absolutely no point in engaging in any of that sort of activity.
That's the thing.
Like you said, when people are after a free meal, and I think that when a woman says, "Oh no, let's split this," it kind of sort of indicates that she's not one of those people, and she then deserves that free meal.
Yeah.
Here's my last question to you.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy was to come into your life, right, what kind of life and future do you see? Do you want it to be? Not do you see? How do you want it to be? Like, does he pay for most things? Does he take you on trips every year? You and the kids? Like, you've known him for a year. During that year and beyond, who is the leader in that relationship? How does it work? Does he have to make? You've already said he has to make more money than you.
I didn't specifically say that, but just for more peace, potentially.
Yeah. For you and for him.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. Ideally, what is the future of that relationship looking like in its mechanism on a daily basis?
So I think ideally, in the best case scenario, I would have a man that I am happy to follow, because again, I'm in my masculine era, if you will. I'm a woman taking care of herself. I don't have a partner. I have 2 boys and I'm raising men, right? So, but I think in the best case scenario, I would have a man who I feel safe with and feel confident that he can lead. Because again, I am in a point in my life where I am grounded in my divine feminine. I nurture my divine feminine. I'm so grateful for being a woman. I love being a woman. And if I want to have some of those traditional roles, then ideally I would love a man that I'm comfortable enough to follow. He would lead in certain things. The man potentially leads and provides, and I am the nurturer, and I'm already a really good nurturer to the family that I do have. So I think, I just want whatever it is, a healthy relationship. I can deal with uncomfortable conversations, and I can deal with vulnerability. I can, deal with the ups and downs that any relationship has. But, woo! But I just want a safe space to be able to be my authentic self. I want someone who sees the best in me, but also challenges me. I want someone to hold me accountable when I'm acting like a little brat, because, we are all of the parts that make us unique, and not all of my parts are great. So someone who can stand me and handle me on my bad days. Amazing.
I want to end by just saying you're one of the dopest people I've ever met.
Thank you. That's really nice.
You're proper cool. You've always been able to have these uncomfortable conversations with me without getting so pissed and angry. You're just,
Again, it's a safe space. People, we just want safe spaces.
I'll say things you don't like or you don't want to hear, and you'll challenge the argument rather than
the person.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're a G.
Thank you.
You're a G. So thank you.
Thank you.
For your time. Love to the boys.
Thank you.
I honestly hope that guy comes into your life at some point. You deserve it.
Thank you. That's really kind of you to say.
Yeah, but there's other girls out there that's winning and shouldn't be, but whatever. Anyway.
Listen, everything has karma. That shit will come back to bite them in the ass. Trust me.
Cool. Thank you.